Can you believe it's been 20 years since this great animated superhero flick ever came to us? Well, you better believe it. Now, we all know there have been numerous families of superheroes out there, but there's been only one actual family of superheroes. But they've only appeared in two movies. But I'm going to talk about their original, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Here's my re-review of Disney and Pixar's The Incredibles. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 2004 animated superhero flick, The Incredibles, released by Disney and produced by Pixar. Ran and directed by Brad Bird, starring the voices of Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Sarah Vowell, Spencer Fox, Jason Lee, Samuel L. Jackson, and Elizabeth Pena. The film is set in a retro-futuristic version of the 1960s. It follows Bob and Helen Parr, a couple of superheroes known as Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, respectively, who hide their powers in accordance with a government mandate and attempt to live a quiet suburban life with their three children. However, Bob's desire to help people draws the entire family to a confrontation with a vengeful fan turned foe. This film was released on this day, November 5th, 2004. Henceforth, today is the film's 20th anniversary, just over a week after it premiered at the El Capitan Theater on October 24th. Well, apparently, Bird was Pixar's first outside director who developed the film as an extension of the 1960s comic book films and spy films from his boyhood and personal family life. He pitched the film to them despite his first feature, The Iron Giant for Warner Bros., ended up being a disappointment and carried over much of its staff to develop this film. It eventually became a big hit. Let's get into the story. On the day of his wedding with Helen, alias Elastigirl, superhero Bob Parr, alias Mr. Incredible, thwarts a civilian's attempted suicide by tackling him through a skyscraper window. Bob then discovers supervillain Bomb Voyage robbing the building, but he's interrupted by his devoted fanboy Buddy Pine, who wants to be a sidekick. Bob rejects Buddy, and Voyage clips a bomb onto Buddy's cape. Bob gets the bomb off, but it destroys part of an elevated train track, forcing Bob to abruptly stop an oncoming train. After his wedding, Bob is sued for collateral damage by the suicidal civilian and the injured train passengers. Similar lawsuits create a negative public attitude towards superheroes, so the government initiates the Superhero Relocation Program, banning all supers from using their powers in public and forcing them into hiding. 15 years later, Bob lives with Helen and their children, Violet, Dash, and baby Jack Jack in Metroville. Although he loves his family, Bob misses his superhero days and resents his mundane job as a claims adjuster, moonlighting as a vigilante with his best friend Lucius Best, alias Frozone. One day, Bob's supervisor, Gilbert Hoof, stops him from preventing a mugging. A frustrated Bob injures Gilbert and is consequently dismissed. That evening, a woman named Mirage secretly offers Bob a mission to subdue a giant omnidroid robot loose on Nomination Island. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Bob succeeds by tricking the machine into ripping out its own power source. Rejuvenated by the action and higher pay, Bob improves his relationship with his family, trains to get back into shape, and asks superhero costume designer Edna Mode to fix a tear in the Omnidroid made in his old suit. Incorrectly assuming Helen knows of Bob's new job, Edna makes new suits for the entire family. Summoned back to Nomination, Bob discovers Mirage is working for Buddy, now calling himself Syndrome, after being embittered by Bob's rejection. Syndrome has become wealthy by inventing weapons that mimic superpowers. He also has been perfecting the Omnidroid by luring supers to fight it until it kills them. Syndrome intends to send an Omnidroid to attack Metroville, then defeat it publicly with secret controls, thereby gaining hero status. He then plans to sell his inventions to the world to make them, well, the term super irrelevant. Helen visits Edna and learns what Bob has been up to. She activates the beacon Edna built into the suits to find Bob, inadvertently causing Bob to be captured while infiltrating Syndrome's base. Helen borrows a private plane to fly to Nominissen. That's it. Violet and Dash stow away, leaving Jack with a babysitter. Despite knowing that there are children on the plane, Syndrome shoots it down with missiles, but Helen and the kids survive and make it to the island. Disillusioned by Syndrome's callousness, Mirage releases Bob and informs him of his family's survival. Syndrome's guards pursue Dash and Violet, who fight them off with their powers and reunite with their parents. Syndrome captures the family, then follows the Omnidroid to Metroville. Violet uses her powers to free her family, and Mirage gives them assistance in reaching Metroville. Now, for the ending, as always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video, go to the description box below, and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, which I'm sure a lot of you have, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Recognizing Syndrome's remote control gauntlet as a threat, the Omnidroid disarms Syndrome and subsequently knocks him out. The Pars and Lucius fight the Omnidroid. Helen and the kids retrieve the remote control, allowing Bob to destroy the robot's power source. The Pars and Lucius are hailed by the public just as Syndrome awakens to see their victory. Returning home, the Pars find Syndrome retaliating by abducting Jack to raise as a sidekick. As Syndrome flies away, Jack's superpowers manifest and he escapes Syndrome's hold. Helen rescues the fallen baby and Bob throws his car at Syndrome's plane, pulling him into one of its engines. Yes, and that's that. But for the last bit of this, 3 months later, the Pars witness the arrival of supervillain the Underminer. They don their masks and suits, ready to face the new threat. End of story. So, what did I think of The Incredibles? I love this movie. This is easily one of my absolute favorite Disney and Pixar films of all time. This is easily one, it's actually easily one of my top 10 favorites, as a matter of fact. Anyway, this film was a monster hit for Disney and Pixar, going on to make $632 million worldwide against its $92 to $145 million budget, and became the 4th highest grossing film of 2004. It is frequently considered to be one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. It received widespread acclaim from critics with praise for its animation, screenplay, voice acting, action sequences, sound design, humor, and music, which was composed by Michael Giacchino, who, of course, would be no stranger to Pixar because he would go on to do the scores for films from them and lots of other big hit films. Anyway, the film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature as well as Best Sound Editing, and also got nominated for Best Original Screenplay and Best Sound Mixing, as well as the Annie Award for Best Animated Feature. It was the first entirely animated film to win the prestigious Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. But it wouldn't be until over 14 years later we would get, well, almost 14 years later, we would get a sequel, Incredibles 2, in 2018. Anyway, I agree with everything that this movie has to offer. It became just so spectacular and incredible. I loved every bit of this film. The film currently sits at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, where they say it bringing a loads of wit and tons of fun to the anime superhero genre. This film easily lives up to its name. Metacritic has a score of 90, and CinemaScore gave it the rare average grade of A+, making Pixar's fourth film after Toy Story 2, Monsters Incorporated, and Finding Nemo. The Chicago Sun-Times wrote that the film alternates breakneck action with satire of suburban sitcom life and is another example of Pixar's mastery of popular animation. Rolling Stone said it was one of the year's best and it doesn't ring cartoonish, it rings true. And people found that the film boasts a strong, entertaining story and a truckload of savvy comic touches. I couldn't agree more. This film had got listed on one of the best animated films from just about everybody in the years to come, including Entertainment Weekly, IGN, USA Today, Elle, Rolling Stone, Empire, plus a lot of others. So anyway, I gotta give this film credit for what it had to offer. Anyway, for the next 15 years, it had the biggest November opening weekend for an animated film until it was dethroned by Frozen 2. Also, during its run with its release, it would get numerous things, including books and toys and other things. There'd also be several video games as well, including The Incredibles and even Rise of the Underminer, which were released on PlayStation 2 and other video game consoles. There'll be numerous others as well. For our voice acting cast, we have Craig T. Nelson, who, of course, most people would know best from TV's Coach, and now, of course, more recently, as for his recurring role on the now defunct Young Sheldon as Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredible. He did such an exceptionally good job. Holly Hunter, wow, you know her from numerous movies and TV shows. She voiced Helen Parr, aka Elastigirl, and I was impressed by her performance. Sarah Vowell voiced Violet Parr, who can become invisible and generate force fields. And Spencer Fox played Dash Parr, the second child in the group who possesses superhuman speed. Now, Eli Fusil and Maeve Andrews did Jack's vocal effects, who of course demonstrates a wide range of superhuman abilities you'll see later on. Jason Lee, who soon would become the big star of the sitcom My Name is Earl, as well as appear in the Alvin and the Chipmunks live action films, voices by Pine, aka Syndrome, great villain. Samuel L. Jackson voices Lucius Best, aka Frozone. I liked his performance. Elizabeth Pena voiced Mirage, very good. But I gotta say, I was impressed with Brad Bird, the director's film, voicing the fashion designer for the Supers, Edna Mode. Yeah. Now, also, there's other voices who are certainly no strangers to Pixar. Two of them had recently worked on their big hits, A Toy Story. Wallace Shawn, who of course voiced Rex in the Toy Story films, voiced Gilbert Hoof, while John Ratzenberger, who voiced Ham in the Toy Story films, would in Toy Story voice the Underminer. So you gotta know the voice acting cast is really good. So there was nothing wrong with The Incredibles. The animation was superb. The voice acting was superb. The characters were superb. The score was superb, etc., etc., etc. Nothing wrong with this film. Nothing at all. But I absolutely love this film, and it's one of the best. So would I recommend The Incredibles? I'd say yes. Go for it. You'll love it if you've never seen it. But as I said, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. But I'm just going to say happy 20th anniversary to this great Disney Pixar film. Still love The Incredibles to this day. And to this day, it's still one of my 10 absolute favorite Disney Pixar films of all time. So what did you think of The Incredibles? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel, get to know me, and maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you wish as well. Now, despite my last video, the imaginary review ended up with not so many reviews. Change of plans for the next vid. I was going to review Trap alone, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a double set for mini reviews instead. So I'll be doing a mini review of Trap and an extra film. I won't reveal what it is until the video comes up tomorrow, okay? So stay tuned for that. So if you like The Incredibles, my re-review of this great film, you can check out my re-reviews of the first two Toy Story films. In the upper left-hand corner is my re-review of Toy Story, the film that put Pixar on the map from 1995. The upper right-hand corner is my re-review of its sequel, one of my absolute favorites, actually my top favorite Disney Pixar film, as a matter of fact, Toy Story 2 from 1999. Or go to the bottom left hand corner and see my review of Monsters Incorporated from 2001. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, on the Big D saying, see ya.